Hello world! Now let's get down to it. I've started this YouTube channel to share my journey to an overall better life and continue to grow as a person. I challenge myself with new habits that will push me out of my comfort zone. These challenges will take place each month over the next year. And for that month, I will pick a new habit that I'll have to do each day. I'm hoping by doing these new habits each day for an entire month, I'm hoping that I'll be more likely to keep them going. And that's sort of the main goal of these monthly habits or new challenges, whatever you want to call them. I'm calling them habits, I'm also calling them challenges, whatever. The main point is that I'm trying to make sure that I keep doing these things. So for the next year, I'm going to do this and see where it goes. The main reason I'm starting to do this, and it's pretty cliche, it's for my New Year's resolution. We just flipped over to a new decade, 2020. Why not start a new exciting challenge? I know everybody usually starts off their new year with a New Year's resolution that go to the gym, start a diet, whatever reason why they do that, they do it. And I'm sure you have all done that as well. And I have I've started new stuff and then I don't keep with it. Like I said before, I want to keep these things sticking. That's why I'm doing these monthly challenges. Also, by uploading these videos or making these videos that you'll see, I'm hoping that it'll make me more accountable and I don't slack off and cheat. I'm a firm believer that the harder the challenge is, the more rewarding it is. And throughout my life so far, the hardest things I've had to do have definitely been the most rewarding. Every time I push myself and get myself out of my comfort zone and push through that invisible cloud and thing we call fear and get to the other side, I'm usually so happy that I've done that experience or I've made that leap to the other side of just getting through the challenge of life or whatever it is. I'm hoping that these new challenges that I'm going to be doing over the next year will be things that will get me out of my comfort zone and help me grow. Like I said before, I want to grow and be a better person, so this is what I'm trying to do. So for my first challenge for January 2020, I took some time to think about what I was going to do. And I wanted to push my body. Surprise, surprise, New Year's resolution, I'm going to push my body and do something hard. Now, I remember hearing about Gary Player and him doing 1,000 push-ups a day. 1,000! Now, I'm not going to do that. And over the last few months, I've been watching these videos of these guys, these really fit guys doing these military challenges that you need to get a military contract, where they do push-ups, sit-ups, running, swimming, all this kind of stuff. And so based on those two things, I'm going to try to pull together a challenge for myself. I'm going to do 60 sit-ups, 60 push-ups, and 60 leg lifts. So I'm going to lay down on my back and lift my legs. So that's what I'm calling leg lifts. Now, it doesn't really sound like a lot, but as you'll see through this video, it's harder than you think. So one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this challenge is, I was hearing all these things and doing all these things, but I wanted to make sure that I was doing things for my upper body because I was just running. And to be honest, I was having dreams where I would feel so weak. So that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to do this and push myself and start working my upper body. Okay, world, let's dive in. Now, the first day was relatively easy. I mean, I do go to the gym fairly often, about 2 to 3 times a week. But the thing is, I just do cardio. So when I started doing this in the first day, I was feeling pretty good because it really wasn't that hard. It took me about 15 minutes to do, and that was it. I got through it. It took me a couple tries, a couple sets, I got through it. But then I woke up the next day. as you just saw, I could barely touch my mouth. It was very difficult to put my clothes on, get out of bed. It was a struggle just to do the day-to-day different things. And then at that day, I had to do 60 more push-ups, 60 more sit-ups, and 60 more leg lifts. And the hardest part was definitely the push-ups. I mean, my arms were so tight, like they were swollen, my chest was sore and swollen, like I was hurting so bad. It was brutal. I mean, people would say stuff to me at work about this thing. I did get through it. It did take me like 3 tries, over an hour plus to get it done. I mean, I had to push myself to get that one done. It was difficult, but I got through it. Now, days 3, 4, and 5 were basically the exact same. I had to get mentally over it and just do it. Like I dreaded coming down in my basement here and doing the workouts, but I did them. Those few days, those 4 or 5 days, or whatever it was so hard. It was probably one of the most hardest physical things I've had to do in my life, because I'd go to work, come home, have supper, and have this thing hang over my head being like, you gotta go downstairs and do your workout. You've got to climb that Mount Everest and do them. And it was taking me over an hour each day to get these things done. It was a struggle, and I would do one and stop and do one. Like, it was so frustrating and so hard to do, but I stuck with it and I did it. So after day 5, I did day 6 and day 7. They were a bit better. Like, I started not being as sore. I still took three sets to get through it, but I started to get a bit faster. The dread of climbing Mount Everest kind of vaporized a bit. I wasn't dreading coming down to do these workouts because I wasn't sore. So what I did is I broke them up into 3 sets where I would try to do 20, 20, 20 of each exercise. And it seemed to help a bit, and gave me a bit of a small goal to reach within my goals. And the other thing I was doing is I was waiting, it was like 24 hours to the minute to try to wait to do these exercises, because I wanted the most amount of recovery time I could have before I would start doing these workouts. Those first 6 days or 5 days, that's what I was trying to do, is just get through them. Now on day 8, for whatever reason, I was able to do it way better than the last week, or that first week. And I started doing it in 2 sets. So I went 30, 30, 30, took a rest for 5 or 10 minutes, and then did 30, 30, 30 again. Day 22, I was still doing the 2 sets, and I did a lot of the workouts, and things were going great, and I was getting a little bit better, but each time I'd get the 30, 30, 30, it was difficult to get that last rep. I wasn't really growing. I wasn't really progressing and getting better. I was kind of slacking. If I was going to do this workout justice, I needed to be able to do the 60, 60, 60 in one go. So at day 22, I made this decision. I was like, why didn't I do this earlier? But I didn't have much time. And so what I did is on day 23, I started to do 5 more reps for each exercise on that day. And I did it for the following day. But on that, say, 3rd day after day 23, I added another 5. So every 2 days I would add an extra 5. Do it for a full day, add another 5. This worked out pretty well. I mean, by day 30, I tried to do it all. I tried to do 60, 60, 60. Because, I tried it because, I've been working up and trying to get more and more, but I tried it, and I did it. And I wanted to do it because I know day 31 of January, I had to do it. So I wanted to do a test run on day 30. And I got through it. And then day 31 came. And I did it. I mean, I took a couple little small breaks throughout, but I sat there and I think it was like just over 10 minutes or something like that to do the whole thing. So I wasn't taking very many breaks. Like, I did a lot of work in 10 minutes. It was awesome. And here it is. Here's the last day. did it. I did my first challenge, January 2020. It wasn't pretty, but I got through it. I set my goal, I stuck to it, and I did it. I feel pretty accomplished with this, first month challenge. I mean, I got through it, I stuck through it. I had some challenges, that's for sure, but I got through it. Now here are my takeaways from this month. Sort of looking back and lessons learned, I guess you could call it. I never really thought it was going to take that hard to do 60 push-ups, 60 sit-ups, and 60 leg lifts. I mean, those aren't big numbers, but they were brutal. I think now, after these 31 days, I think it's good to reflect on it and, even though you set scary goals for yourself and, at some points during those journeys that you go on yourself, that you'll want to quit. But those hard parts are what make the end so much more sweeter. I can definitely tell you after this video that I can draw on that experience, that when I felt like I did not want to do it, but then I kept doing it. It's something I can draw on for the rest of my life, because I'm here now and it feels so good. Like it's after January 31st today. I'm still doing these workouts. I'm not doing them every day, but I'm still doing them. Like, I did it last night and I did 50 push-ups in a row and did a very quick rest and finished them off. Like, I did it. Like, it's awesome, and I don't want to go back to those days of 2, 3, 4, 5, where it was just such a struggle to do them. Like, it sucked. It did, but it got me to where I am at the end of this month of January, where I've built that into myself, and now I just gotta keep it going. And it's great. I don't want to go back. I'm just gonna keep moving forward. The other thing I want to take away from this month is the way I did my workouts. I did I did push-ups, sit-ups, and then I did leg lifts. And if any of you know anything about doing sit-ups and leg lifts, you're pretty much using your abs the whole time. So I would go from sit-ups directly right into leg lifts, and the leg lifts were definitely the hardest part of this whole thing. I mean, the push-ups were at the beginning of the month, but once I got through that pain and that stuff, it was nothing. It was so hard to do those leg lifts. It was brutal. So on those last 2 days, I switched up, make it easier for myself. So if I was ever to do this again, I did sit-ups, push-ups, and then leg lifts, just to give my abs a bit of a break in between. I made it so hard for myself. I don't know why I did that and why I was like, oh, maybe I should switch this up. But no, I was like, this is what I'm doing, I gotta stick with it. But I gave my head a shaking at the end of the month and got through it. Well, world, that's it. That's the first month, that's my first challenge. I'm sure you're all excited to see what my new challenge is for next month. I'm not going to tell you, you're going to have to wait for the next video, but hopefully you'll come and watch it if anybody's watching this right now. But thank you for watching if you have, and we'll see you next time. One last thing. Every good video has blooper videos, or a blooper reel, so roll them.